Hello, this is Ginny Brant with Unleash Your God-Given Healing with Lifestyle Changes. Today we're going to look at 6 benefits of breastfeeding for the mother. When my mother first had her first baby in 1953, bottle feeding was the popular thing to do due to availability and marketing of infant formulas and, of course, convenience. But my mother went with her gut. She reasoned, if this was the way God created that a baby be fed, I'm going to do it His way if I can. Today we know that human milk is God-designed for babies, providing nutrition, antibodies, and disease protection for a healthy start in life. It also provides lifelong benefits and protection against diseases such as diabetes, asthma, and obesity. Of course, we're also thankful that bottle feeding is available for those times when we need it, such as adoption or inability to produce milk. But these known benefits for our children are why many of us decided to make breastfeeding a priority. But did you also know that breastfeeding has benefits for the mother too? How many of us knew this when we were having babies? I didn't. And this is what we are going to look at today, so stay with me. Here are 6 benefits of breastfeeding for the mother that many people simply don't know about. Number 1, breastfeeding helps with weight management. Simply put, breastfeeding burns about 500 or more calories each day, helping a mom to return to her pre-pregnancy weight. When my first son was born, I followed in my mother's footsteps and made breastfeeding a priority. Since my son was born at nearly 10 pounds and grew like a weed, while he was increasing, I was decreasing. I got back to my weight, not pre-pregnancy, but when I first got married. But one word of caution, after increasing your food intake during pregnancy and nursing, which I did for that child for 2 years, that weight gain can come back if you don't decrease your food intake after weaning your baby. Number 2, breastfeeding increases bonding and mental health. Breastfeeding increases oxytocin, which promotes both relaxation and bonding between mother and baby. This hormone reduces the risk of postpartum depression and helps the uterus to contract and return to a normal size. This can also help reduce postpartum bleeding. After giving birth to twins on the second go-round, my doctors were surprised at how quickly my uterus returned to the normal size. To be perfectly honest, with 2 babies sucking round the clock, it didn't take long. Number 3, breastfeeding is inexpensive and it is convenient. With the expenses of a young family, it's the best and cheapest option, and it's free. What more can I say? I love free things, right? Of course, that's not taking into account all the extra grass that was fed to this milk machine to make all that milk. And there are no bottles or nipples to clean, sterilize, or warm in the middle of the night. It's available whenever you need it. It worked well for me. Of course, when the twins were born, my father began calling me the ultimate milk-making machine. My body was literally working around the clock. And although nursing was convenient for me, I must admit I was tied down to the demands of 2 little boys who cried in desperation for me. It's nice to be needed, isn't it? I must confess that I did make a huge mistake with my first baby. I never trained him to take a bottle in the first months. Then when I needed him to take a bottle, he wouldn't take a bottle. When my doctor told us I was expecting twins, I corrected this mistake. After another C-section delivery, I told the nurse in the baby nursery to give those twins a bottle in the wee hours of the night at 2 a.m. so I could sleep and recover. I needed that sleep. I was thankful for formula and bottles at that 2 a.m. feeding each night when in the hospital. Formula, as we know, is expensive. And in the last 5 years, ask any young mom who used it, it can be hard to find. It was a huge crisis during COVID. Number 4, breastfeeding lowers the risk of breast, ovarian, endometrial, and thyroid cancers. Breastfeeding gives beneficial streams of good bacteria to the baby, but moms also receive the benefit of this good bacteria passing through their breast ductal passages. Lactation suppresses the amount of estrogen your body produces. It's high levels of estrogen over time that can increase your risk for breast and endometrial cancers and ovarian as well. A recent study found that women who breastfed for 13 months or more were 63% less likely to develop an ovarian tumor than women who breastfed for less than 7 months. But why would this be? Nursing delays ovulation. And some researchers believe that the more ovulations, the greater the risk of cell mutation. As a result of all of this research, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends breastfeeding for at least 12 months for mom and baby to obtain the full benefits. According to Dr. Therese Bevers, medical director at MD Anderson's Lydia Hill Cancer Prevention Center, the body sheds breast tissue naturally during pregnancy and during breastfeeding. This process may shed some cells that had the potential to become abnormal. Bevers also said this: breastfeeding for longer than 6 months benefits your child's health and yours. The longer you breastfeed, the more protection you'll both receive. And that's straight from MD Anderson. Number 5, breastfeeding lowers the risk of both blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. Dr. Peter Hartman, a world-renowned expert in the science of breastfeeding from Australia, said this: breastfeeding lowers your lifelong risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. A 2017 study in China showed that women with a history of breastfeeding had a 10% lower risk of cardiovascular disease later in life. And that percentage only increases with longer durations of breastfeeding. Lactation also reduces glucose and insulin. Breastfeeding helps improve insulin sensitivity. Pregnancy can cause metabolic changes, which we know can increase the risk of gestational diabetes, but breastfeeding may help reverse some of these changes. Breastfeeding appears to act as a natural metabolic reset, especially for mothers who experience gestational diabetes during pregnancy. So something to think about. And last but not least, breastfeeding reduces the risk of osteoporosis. According again to Dr. Hartman, breastfeeding improves bone mineralization, so you'll be less likely to suffer from osteoporosis and fractures later in life if you breastfeed. He also believes, listen to this, that breastfeeding can boost a mom's brain power. Now put me down for that one. Maybe it's not too late for me to have another child. But then again, I don't want to set the record for the Guinness Book of World Records at almost 70 years old. Did you know all of these benefits before today? I knew some, but not all of these until I took a deeper dive into the research. It doesn't matter Whether you check Johns Hopkins, the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, or any major hospital system today, there's no one who will deny these benefits. Something my mother didn't know in her day is widely known today. My mother's gut feeling to nurse at a time when bottle feeding and formula were the convenient and popular thing to do paid off. God has created us with a magnificent body, and this research only confirms how miraculous and purposeful His creation is. My siblings and I received this benefit of breastfeeding, and so did my children. I certainly hope they appreciate it. When my doctor told me I was expecting twins, I wondered if I could make enough milk for 2 babies. But praise God, I was able to do that, and I nursed them for an entire year. And boy, did that baby weight come off quickly. Last week, I sat next to a mother of 8 in church. After learning all these benefits, I wondered if she has any risk at all of breast, ovarian, or uterine cancers since she has been breastfeeding continuously for almost 15 years. I'll bet her risk is like 0. And if you still don't believe me, look at the checklist you are given before you receive your mammogram. One of the questions asked is always, how many years did you breastfeed your children? All of the questions have to do with breast cancer risk. Oh, I certainly hope this information has been beneficial for you today. If you have been breastfeeding for years, you've just gotten a boost knowing that your risk for many diseases has gone down just because of what you did, plus all the benefits for your baby. If you're considering whether I should breastfeed or not, I would encourage you to give it all you've got, to give it your best try and make it a priority. It is the way God intended for things to be. And of course, bottle feeding, it's a great thing to have. For those times when we need it, when we can't breastfeed because we've adopted a child, or maybe we have to be hospitalized and someone else needs to bottle feed that baby for us. It's a great thing to be able to do when needed. This information, I hope, will bless you. I pray that you will like this video, share it, that you will subscribe to my channel so that you will know when I post new information. Until next time, here is celebrating a God who created us magnificently. We are His purposeful creation, and the intricacies of that is just beyond anything we can imagine. And may God bless.